Instant classic last night at Nationals Park. Down by 5 early, the home team battled back twice, punctuated by a veteran with a flair for the dramatic. There it goes! Left center! Heading for the bullpen! Worth a grand slam! Plenty of power again today. Steven Strasburg matches up with Giancarlo Stanton as we bring down the curtain on the homestand. Cherry blossoms in full bloom, and there was something else that had a bit of a coming out party last night. The power of Bryce Harper. Big 3-run shot to get the Nats back into a game. Worth and the boys took care of the rest, as well as the bullpen. Was that enough night of baseball for you, or what? We may see guys swing a little earlier in the count today. Day game after a night game. Good ball club going for a sweeper. It would be the Nats' second sweep if they can pull it off.
Yeah, I mean, good teams take 2 out of 3. A great team sweep.
I knew you were going to say that today. I just couldn't wait. So I had to get you into that. But Jason Worth, a guy who has that flair, and it's been going back for a while now.
Yeah, I mean, the clutch home runs from the big hairy guy in the middle of the lineup. Let's go back to September 8th, 2012. A 2-hour and 33-minute rain delay. Jason Worth grabs his bat out of his locker, says, let's do it, charges into the box. A 12-pitch at-bat turns into a tater that wins the game. And, oh, what about this one? Was that fairly big? Game 4 NLDS, a 13-pitch at-bat, walk-off variety, bottom of the 9th inning, set this town into a frenzy, as well as his teammates, kept his ball club alive, and we won't talk about what happened after that. And then how about August 10th, 2013? Good way to get your 1,000th career hit, right? A tater, but not just any tater, against your old club, the Philadelphia Phillies. And last night, on the second pitch, a fastball from Marmol deposited into the left field bullpen for a grand slam, putting his team up by 3. A little curtain call, and like I said, the big hairy guy has hit some clutch home runs for this ball club over the past couple years.
He's hitting .345 with an on-base percentage of .457, 8th best in the league. Nice warm day. Steven Strasburg, we keep waiting. Maybe today's the day when he goes out and just dominates somebody.
Well, I mean, he's had success against the Marlins throughout his career, but he's also had some tough outings against them, so we'll see. I mean, they're a good hitting ball club. We saw Christian Yelich last night. Key for Steven Strasburg is to keep Yelich off first base.
Against the Marlins, more wins, 6. In more starts, 14, than against any other ball club. Strasburg will try to lead the Nats to a sweep before they head down to Hotlanta tomorrow. Nationals baseball on NASN, brought to you by AT&T, mobilizing your world. Well, the forces got mobilized last night, and the outfield got together. Harper and Worth decided to do some damage and drive in some runs. They're both in the lineup today. Denard Span gets the day off. More on the Nats lineup in the bottom of the first. Right now, an invitation to visit trainsearch.com. Find your local Train Comfort Specialist dealer. It's hard to stop a train, really hard. So 69 beautiful degrees at the ballpark. Wind is blowing out today. Marlins are hitting .287. Only the Rockies at .320 have a higher team batting average in the National League. Christian Yelich all over the bases last night. 3 for 4. An RBI, couple of walks. He scored 3 runs. He's hitting .290 on the season. He'll be their leadoff guy and trying to spark them to some early offense like he did against Jordan Zimmerman last night. Marlins are third in the league in runs, and so their lineup swinging the bats pretty well, facing the stuff of Strasburg.
You got 4 pitches now. The fastball this year averaging 93.7 miles an hour. The slider 85 miles an hour. Curve 78. Changeup 87. So Steven Strasburg, a 4-pitch guy. That's why you see the percentage of fastballs down from about 62% last year to what you just saw.
So this season, couple of starts. 10 hits in 13 innings. Actually, 13 hits in 10 innings, which is unusual. Steven never gives up more hits than innings pitched. And 10 runs, 3 of them have been unearned. So some things have gone wrong behind him. And he'll just try to take care of what he can control today. First pitch of the game at 4:07, and Yelich takes ball 1.
Oh, he's coming off that 6-2 loss on Saturday against the Braves. Was cruising along through 3 innings, then gave up a couple in the 4th, and then 4 in the 5th, and the wheels came off.
There's Yelich getting a fastball up 95. He just rifled that thing right up the middle.
Set the defense for the Nats today behind Steven Strasburg. Harper, McLeod, Worth, your outfield. So Nate McLeod giving Denard Span a day off. Desmond Zimmerman left side. Rendon LaRoche right side. And Sandy Leon behind the plate.
Got to be good up the middle, right? Nate McLeod, one of the better defensive outfielders in baseball, who doesn't play every day. And Sandy Leon gets his first action of this series. He's had 7 at-bats in 2 games so far.
I'll tell you what, Christian Yelich is some kind of tough out. On base 5 times last night and starts this one up with a knock.
Strasburg gave him a look before going into a set position, as he often does these days. Yelich 2 for 2 stealing bases. The Marlins 5 out of 6 in the running department. Derek Dietrich had a walk, couple of RBIs, hit a home run early in the game last night. And I did check with some scouts and a couple of writers who were here with us last night. And they confirmed what I suspected, that on Dietrich's homer that hit the railing right above the scoreboard, no umpire made a call. Desmond got there late. The runner was already safe. And now the ball gets by Nate McLeod. So Yelich goes to third base. Desmond kind of in a kneeling position right now, not feeling too great after that play. And then maybe Nate McLeod peeked to see if the runner was going to keep going.
Great jump by Yelich. Leon had no chance, but watch Ian Desmond in the glove and the helmet of Yelich collide. Nate McLeod just peeks up, seeing if Yelich is going to third base. Took his eye off the baseball, but this is what I want to see again. Yeah, I don't see Ian Desmond's wrist bending in any funny direction. That was just from the contact of the helmet, probably to the palm of his hand.
Infield back, easy RBI opportunity, but it is 0-2. And Strasburg in on the hands. They've got the runner hung up.
We got a pickle.
Steven Strasburg makes a good defensive play. So the runners don't change places, but the hitter does make it to second base.
Well, nice play by Steven Strasburg. 2 hard-hit balls up the middle to start this one up. Nice swing by Dietrich, but good play by Strasburg, knocking it down. Good throw right there to Leon, and Leon does this perfect. Run him all the way right into Zimmerman for the tag. And give Derek Dietrich credit on the backside for getting all the way to second base, but good play by Strasburg. It's not an easy throw right there. You're used to throwing that ball 95 miles an hour. You got to take a little off and make a good feed to the catcher. I've seen a lot of pitchers throw that one to the screen, and good hustle by Dietrich getting in scoring position.
That was pretty cool. Sandy Leon with all the gear on, showing off the wheels a little bit, running Yelich all the way back. So only 2 throws required in that 1-2-5 fielder's choice. Giancarlo Stanton is 8 for 21 career against Strasburg. Couple of home runs, 5 RBIs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. So at times each has overmatched the other.
Well, it's just funny for me to watch the Marlins so far in this series come out hacking. Frank Menechino, the hitting coach for Florida, for Miami, played the majority of his career for the Oakland A's, where he went deep into counts, but his hitters, they're coming up hacking.
That might have been a busted bat. Stanton way out ahead. Rookie umpire Toby Basner has the plate. DJ Rayburn at first. Jeff Kellogg is the crew chief at second base with nearly 22 years under his belt, and Dan Bellino, who had the plate last night, over at third. Stanton in this series 2 for 8 with an RBI. Strasburg dumping one down in the dirt, taking a little bit off on a good changeup. First strikeout and a crucial second out.
Yeah, 89 miles an hour on the changeup. See the grip right there on his fingertips, turns it over. Giancarlo Stanton thinking fastball all the way as he commits. Watch the bottom drop out of that, and he was nowhere near. I mean, that might as well have been a split fastball at 89. Stanton way out in front. And Strasburg with a big K. So settling down nicely after this one started with all heck breaking loose behind him.
Yeah, suddenly 2 outs, runner at second. And he faces Garrett Jones, who makes contact. That sends McLeod back, and Nate will run it down about 10 feet in front of the 4:02 mark. So the Marlins, a couple of big contact swings. Bottom line, a 0 on the board. Start. Fans still coming in. Probably will for a while. A number of them coming down Half Street from the Navy Yard Metro Station. The Nats are hitting .260. 5th in the league in batting average, runs, and 4th in homers. And Bryce Harper, that big bat, awoke last night to the tune of a 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs. 10 pitch at bat before that home run in the 4th. That was a game changer. Nate McLeod against Tom Kohler, and the right-hander makes his 26th career start with this stuff.
Yeah, he'll 2-seam and 4-seam the fastball, averages 92. The breaking ball is the slider at 85, the curveball at 78, and he'll throw an occasional changeup at 85. And Nate McLeod not waiting around.
First career at bat against the 27-year-old right-hander from the Bronx. Marlins 18th round pick back in 08. Career record of 6-11. He's 1-1 against the Nats, making his third start against Washington. And McLeod lifting one to left. It'll be easy for Yelich. The Nats are one of the better offensive teams in the league so far, despite getting very little out of their leadoff spot so far.
You see the defense for the Marlins today. Yelich, Ozuna, Stanton. Your outfield, Echeverria, McGee left side, Dietrich Jones right side, and Jeff Mathis getting the start behind the plate.
Now, Denard Span did check in with a couple of late base hits last night. A single up the middle, a bunt in the 8th that was big. So Denard gets the day off, and he'll be ready to roll in Atlanta. Here's Rendon, who's been ready to roll from his first at bat of the season. He sits safely in all 8 games, 13 for 31, and his .419 batting average is in the top 5 in the National League. In this series, 4 for 8, a walk, 3 RBIs. He's 0-4-1 with a walk against Kohler.
You're just watching video of Kohler before the game today. It seems like he's more comfortable to the glove side. What do I mean by that? You know, the glove on his left hand. He likes to throw lefties in with the fastball and righties away the majority of the time. And he's not afraid to throw that curveball down and into righties, or down into lefties, excuse me.
Kind of interesting about Rendon. He's hit safely in every game, but he doesn't have the longest hitting streak in the league. Michael Kadire for Colorado, 10 straight. Carlos Gonzalez, 9 straight. And Angel Pagano, the Giants, 9 straight. Some of those teams have played another game or 2 than the Nats have. And a 3-1. This is a 2-hopper to the shortstop, Echeverria.
Any of those hitting streaks left over from last year? No?
No. They all started on March 31st.
Last night's hero, there he is.
His on-base percentage almost .460 right now, with 10 hits and 5 walks.
Well, he said he was sitting on the fastball from Marmol last night after he shook off 3 times. It was a 0-1 count, and usually with Marmol, you're going to get a slider in that count every time. But when he saw him shake 3 times, he said, I switched to fastball, sat on it, obviously, and got it.
Busy series for Jason, 5 RBIs. Got one with a ground ball last night before the slam. Counts even 1-1. Unusual starting time of 4:05, and possibly the team that scores first gets a big advantage here on a bright day with the shadows creeping early.
Yeah, good call.
And this guy's delivering fastballs 95. Right field is the sun field for outfielders right now. 2-1 to Worth, and that's up and away, an easy take for him.
If you're on the Marlins and you hunt in the offseason, it's all you have to do is wear your jersey.
or go with a San Francisco Giant or a Baltimore Oriole.
That's a little brighter, I do believe.
So Worth is aboard again. He's now walked 6 times in 9 games along with 10 hits, and that'll give Adam LaRoche a chance here in a lefty-righty matchup. For the hitter, he's 1 for 4 with a walk career against Tom Kohler. Adams had a really good series, 4 for 8.
Kohler pretty quick to the plate. He's not deliberate by any means.
On the corner. Shift is on. Not as big as we've seen it against LaRoche.
Yeah, the one thing about LaRoche is, you know, he's been taking that outside pitch to left field and taking his base hits. That's something he didn't do a whole lot last year. And you know, he's worked on his swing, tightening it up, shortened his approach to where that outside pitch really doesn't give him a problem anymore, especially when it's on the plate.
All he has to do is keep doing what he's doing for the first third of the season in his so-called cold months, and then we'll see what he does come June when he really usually revs things up. That's well hit and a base hit. Worth looks at it. He is going to stop at second because he saw Stanton coming quickly. And Giancarlo has one of the strongest right field arms in the league.
Well, there goes a no-hitter, Adam LaRoche style. And I wonder if Jason Worth has day game after night game legs, because he didn't look like he was coming around second too hard right there. When you stand on the field for 4 hours and you play a long game at night, and then you have a day game the next day, even though it's a 4 o'clock start, watch Jason. I don't think he's really getting it right here. He starts to think about going to third. And with 2 outs, probably not a good gamble if you think it's going to be close, so he held up.
Doesn't matter what defense they play against LaRoche these days. He's now batting around .330. Big spot for Ryan Zimmerman, and he's liked what he's gotten from Kohler to the tune of 4 out of 5 career with a home run, 2 RBIs.
I see that look back from Ryan right there. He didn't like that call.
He's going to step out, and that's about as demonstrative as he gets.
First strike to LaRoche may have been a little wide. That one the same way.
Then the breaking ball drops in.
Well, first pitch fastball away on pitch track. See it just missing pitch track, but got the call. That pretty good curveball right there from Kohler for strike 2. 12-6 variety. Straight up, straight down.
Ryan has homered against his right-hander, driven in 2 runs.
Have you been looking out of the booth? It's snowing. Cherry blossoms.
Cherry blossoms are blowing all over town right now. They're going to follow us to Atlanta and bring the Nats some karma down there. How about that?
All right.
Able to get a piece of that one, Ryan Zimmerman. Checks in, batting .375. 9 for 24.
He's out here at 12:30 today, taking ground balls at third with throws in his shorts. Nobody else on the field except for Ryan Zimmerman.
Runners are going. Worth had a walking lead at second, then LaRoche followed him on a 1-2 count with 2 outs.
Well, if they're going to give it to you with 2 outs and 2 strikes, you take it. And Jason Worth with a monster jump right there. Had that bag stolen easy, but with 2 strikes, Zimmerman had to protect. A lot of times hitters will tell you that distracts him in the background when you see a guy stealing, especially with 2 strikes.
Off speed. The umpire's saying foul tip. Jeff Mathis tried to sell it. Mathis tried to sell it by running off the field, and here comes Mike Redmond.
Well, if the ball hit the ground, that's what Toby Basner's saying, is that foul tip hit the dirt and that Mathis didn't catch it. And I think Mathis told his skipper that it did, so that he didn't waste a replay or a challenge or whatever they're called. Yeah, it did get the dirt.
I just wonder,
did he foul it though? That's the question.
What? That replay, I saw a slight redirect. On the first one,
okay.
I didn't. That ball did change directions. And a 1-2 again. Good battle here. Way outside.
See the cat and mouse game going on with Jeff Mathis and maybe Jason Worth at second base. He started to set up in right there. Then he shifted away and then went back in. I don't know if he's trying to get Ryan Zimmerman to feel his presence behind him or decoy the runner at second base. Pretty good AB working here.
Crowd's liking it. They've got Kohler, the Nats do, up to 24 pitches in the first inning.
Well, something we didn't touch on in the outset, but, you know, with last night being a big bullpen night for both clubs, I would assume that both managers are looking for long outings out of their starters today to save both bullpens that were used exclusively last night.
And Zimmerman gets overpowered by that one. There's a chance, and he's out on a close play. Garrett Jones off the bag to shovel it over to Tom Kohler. So the Nats going to walk a hit, nearly another. Who's going to score first with the shadows approaching third base?
Steven Strasburg the last couple of years, and when you look at 2010, fastball average 97.3, 2011 95.8, and all the way down to this year at 93.7. Not the biggest deal in the world if you can hit your spots and your location. Added a slider to the repertoire, and it's become one of his better out pitches.
The one thing it has done is shrunk the difference between his fastball and his changeup, but that changeup's still pretty dirty. Just ask Giancarlo Stanton. Strasburg bodies that one over to the line. Reaches for a tag, misses that, and then he gets the throw. A lot going on, and Strasburg has been in the way of two shots here early.
Well, Yelich hit a hard line drive up the middle to start this off. Derek Dietrich hit a ball right back up the middle, the second batter of the game, and now Casey McGee with a bullet off Strasburg, who makes a nice play to stay with it, missed the tag, and continued to throw on to first. But even Garrett Jones, who had that deep fly ball to Nate McLouth in center field, hit that ball up the middle. I'll tell you what, these Marlins swing the bat. They don't wait around for anything. They're looking for first pitch fastballs. They're getting off good swings. They've done it the whole series.
Well, Strasburg has 2 assists already. Kind of interesting on that play that Casey McGee made a left turn and got onto the infield grass out of the running lane because Strasburg was in there.
And from a hitter standpoint, the velocities we show with Steven Strasburg isn't the end-all be-all, but when you do have a guy throwing mid to upper 90s, it gives you so much less time to react as a hitter, to see the baseball, let it get deep, decipher ball and strike. And it makes all the other pitches that much better. So when you have a guy in the lower 90s versus the upper 90s, that gives you that extra click to make your mind up and to get the barrel out in front of the plate and make contact. And so it's not the biggest deal in the world, but it's definitely an advantage to hitters when you're hitting 93 versus 97.
He's right at 94-95 today. And that's strike 2 to Marcell Ozuna, who's 1 for 2 career against Steven, but he has 3 RBIs. Young center fielder, 2 for 7, with a pair of walks in this series so far. And he's overmatched away with 94. And at least early in this game, FP, we're seeing more frequency of the fastball than we did last time out.
Yeah, good one right there. He was trying to get that in. He just kind of pulled it across. It ended up working in his favor. And I think Ozuna was looking for it in too. But 94 miles an hour, and you see the late swing, maybe thinking about a curveball right there. Got a fastball and a 2-strike count.
I believe it was, what, 58% fastballs last time out? More than that here. Here's Echeverria. The shortstop is 3 for 9 in the series. And he goes right field way. It's tailing away from Worth. He reads it and reaches it. And it's another quick inning for Strasburg. 10 pitches first inning and a 1-2-3 to follow. Thrown 16 pitches in the first 2 innings today. So it's a good family day at the ballpark. Some peanuts, some Cracker Jack, popcorn, hot dogs, and how about a blast last night? And I mean a blast. FP over the top of the right field foul pole.
I mean, you come to the ballpark, you sit in the upper deck, and you're thinking, there's no way I'm going to get a ball up there. And Bryce Harper goes over the foul pole in right field. And his power zone right down the middle, but that one was down and in last night. And that was actually off the plate. So maybe put a little red dot in the left-handed batter's box because that's where that pitch was.
So Bryce in the series 3 for 8. Half of the hits he's had on the season. He got jammed by that one. It's a pop-up short left center. And I'm sure Echeverria was waiting for Ozuna to call him off, which he did. Tough Sun field. And Harper gone on 1 pitch. Desmond and Leon the next 2.
Yeah, that was right in his power zone. Good hack by Harper. Barrel to the baseball. Just got under it a hair. And then the Sun Monster in center field. Glasses blazing.
Ian Desmond struggling a bit at 226. 1 for 7 in this series with an RBI and a walk. Ian's off to a 7 for 31 start. One for 4 career against the right-hander Tom Kohler, who had a 6.55 ERA in 2 starts against the Nats last year.
He got a pitch right there.
Yes, he did. And a breaking ball tapped to third. Desmond off to the races. It'll take a good play. He's safe. Casey McGee played it well. Desmond collecting some infield hits lately. He's aboard with one out.
I mean, Mike Redmond looking back. Every single close play all year long is going to be under review in one way or another. And Mike Redmond right now is looking in his dugout to see if they need to challenge this. Swing and bunt by Ian Desmond. Nice play by McGee to make it that close. Got an in-between hop on a bare hand and got something on it. And from that replay, it looked like Ian Desmond was safe. Let's check this one out, too. And it looks like we're going to play baseball. Awesome.
Nice. Keep the ball rolling. Keep the line moving. Here's Sandy Leon. By the way, I learned something over lunch today downstairs from a couple of baseball guys here watching the Nats. There's already a new term in baseball for what managers do when they go out to see the ump. It's called turning the umpire. You remember how you came up with that last week where you turned to see the coach in the dugout? Well, evidently some of the umpires are already getting their feet in the proper position now before the managers even get there, because they know they're going to turn them around for that conversation. So the skipper can look to his bench coach on the phone with the clubhouse, and it's called turning the umpire. How about that?
Crazy. I talked to Matt Williams. He said, he's talked to umpires, and managers come out and say, hey, look, I'm just stalling for time till my bench coach tells me whether we're going to appeal this or not. So, yeah, where are you going for dinner tonight? How's the wife? How's the kids? Everybody okay? Wait, there's my bench coach. Thumbs down. Okay, I'll see you.
Yeah.
Nice talk. Nice talk, Russ.
There's only one manager that's been thrown out of a game this year, but that was not because of a reviewable play. It was balls and strikes. Rich Renteria of the Cubs has been the only manager ejected. And the feeling around baseball is right now that Bobby Cox's career record is very safe.
Cart, we bring up an interesting point. When you talk to people that played for Bobby Cox, the first thing that players say is he always had our back. Whether I was right or wrong, if I was in an argument on the field, he came out and he would get kicked out with me. And now as a player, when you have a manager that does that, you want to run through a wall for that guy because he's got your back. And there's some managers that will leave you hanging out there as a player and then never come out and argue with you. That whole part of the game is gone.
Leon hits a double play ball to Dietrich. Desmond went after Echeverria, but the Marlins turn the 4-6-3. So some managers turn the umpires and some infielders turn double plays. We're on to the third.
if you're around the ballpark and you're close by, it's an absolutely perfect day for a ball game. It's also a perfect time to be a 2014 Nats season plan holder. Great plans still available for purchase. Get the lowest prices and exclusive season plan holder benefits. Purchase your plan by calling 202-675-NATS or visit nationals.com/2014. I mean, just an absolutely perfect day for baseball.
Inside the numbers with Jeep. And Strasburg here against the Marlins. 5 no decisions with a 2.25 ERA. Strikeouts, not that many, 7 per 9 innings on the average. But the Fish only hitting 208 against him during that time.
Well, he's had 14 starts against the Marlins. That's the most he's had against any team. In those 14 starts, he's tossed scoreless baseball 7 times.
And he's won 6 of the 9 decisions. That's a good front door pitch, 87, near the hands of the catcher Jeff Mathis, who gets his first start in this series. 31-year-old veteran from Marianna, Florida, part of that mega trade with Toronto prior to last season. And then Strasburg drops 88 on him to get his 3rd strikeout. Nissan will track it down with you.
I mean, this changeup is just not fair. There's no other way to put it. Look at the movement on that. It starts right down the middle. When Mathis has to commit, it's a strike. And then when he goes to swing, it turns into a nasty left-handed slider. Watch this thing take a right. Look at that movement on the changeup from Strasburg at 88.
Yeah, according to the pitch track, that ball ended up about 4 baseballs off the plate by the time Leon gloved it. So right now, the light standards casting shadows between the mound and home plate. Tom Kohler is 3 for 42 as a big league hitter, 0 for 2 this year. Outfield around to the right. Worth very shallow and right. He loves to challenge anything hit that way. And the count's 1-2 on that foul ball.
Yeah, 95. And the fastball command from Strasburg so far has been great.
Maybe that average FP that was 93 something you noted last inning will creep up a little bit with the weather warming up. It was a little chilly in New York.
It's a good call.
Maybe guys don't get as loose as they do a little later.
Well, they don't.
See ya. That is a slider. That's the slide piece Strasburg's been developing at 87. So 4 strikeouts to the first 9 batters.
Yeah, for a second I forgot he had the slider, so I'm thinking that's a really hard curveball, but it was the slider as you called it. 87 miles an hour, and pitch we're all getting used to from Steven Strasburg. And this one, we see Kohler with a lean back right there. He wanted nothing to do with that 2-strike offering.
So the only hit, this man, first guy up today, Christian Yelich, who's becoming a problem for Nationals right-handed pitching.
96 on that fastball, getting loose. Maybe got a text message from his dad Jim in San Diego saying, hey, they're talking about your 93 between innings. Checking his cell phone.
Shut those guys up, would you?
You shut Santangelo up and start throwing 96.
And then Steven texted his dad back and said, you know what, it feels a lot like San Diego here right now.
Great day.
2 balls, 1 strike. Look at the movement on that changeup. It was up a bit. That thing acted like a Livan Hernandez swing back fastball.
I mean, that's a lot of guys' fastball. You're right. 89 miles an hour. So 2-seam changeup, power variety, strike 2.
2-2 to Yelich. Leon holds the glove there for a while, and Toby Basner, the rookie umpire, does not give strike 3. It's ball 3. Trying to stay in on this guy who has worn the Nats out the last 2 games. They're going to get him. Ground ball. Rendon. Another 1-2-3 for Strasburg. One of his most economical 3 innings ever as a Nat. Mentioned Strasburg here. 29 pitches, 22 strikes through 3 scoreless innings. Volkswagen, moment in history. The big train began a streak of 56 consecutive scoreless innings on this date in 1913. Nobody got a hit against him until the Depression. That's how good he was going.
That might have caused the Depression.
For some hitters. I heard a great story about the first time he stepped on a big league mound and the other team was hooting and hollering at him about being a big old farm boy from the Midwest. And after the first inning he pitched, they all shut up. They were like, oh, okay.
This guy's for real.
Steven Strasburg, 0 for 3 as a hitter this year, but he's a 168 career batter who's gone the Silver Slugger route in his career. 1-1 from Kohler.
That's where he likes to hit the ball to right field. And he's going to have to hustle if he hits something hard to Giancarlo Stanton, because he's playing some kind of close.
Stanton and Worth trying to see who could be the first to throw out a pitcher at first base this year. Breaking ball away. That's where Jason was playing on Kohler. For the Achiever and you, PNC Bank, with our minor league report. Denny Rosenbaum, last season with Syracuse, a losing record, but the ERA respectable. 102 strikeouts in 158 innings, pitches to contact. And against the Paw Sox yesterday, a very nice outing. 2 outs into the 7th inning.
He's ready. Call him up.
Top of the order, Nate McLeod flied to left first time. That Syracuse staff right now has a team ERA of 3.08. And Jeff Cobertis right now off to a bit of a slow start, but I saw where Yuri Perez is hitting between 250 and 300. Off to a good start is Zach Walters, 7 for his first 21 with a home run. Some kind of talent on that AAA ball club. And a breaking ball low and inside to McLeod.
We better be careful on anything off speed or anything in with 2 strikes to McLeod, because as he's shown us, he'll let it hit him. He's not going to get out of the way. He wants to reach base any way he can.
Winning rally started last night when he pinch hit in the 8th, and a little breaking ball got him right above his shin guard. Probably didn't feel too little to him, but on the replay you noted he didn't move a muscle. Walk was as good as a hit, or a hit batter as good as a hit in that situation.
I love to see stuff like that for the ball club.
3-2. Nate looking for his first Nationals hit. And this one high in the air will back up Yelich, still going. The ballpark is playing smaller today with that breeze on a sunshiny afternoon. And that thing carried a lot farther than anybody thought it would. Rendon coming in. And Jeep has some inside the numbers for us.
That's all it has to do is say he's good.
National League batting leaders Emilio Bonifacio running all over Wrigley Field for the Cubs. Chase Utley been battling the flu this week, but he's off to a good start for the Phils, who face former Nat Marco Estrada in Philadelphia tonight.
Good pitch by Kohler.
And the Mets at Atlanta, rubber game of that series, Mejia and Hale. David Hale, who pitched against the Nats last weekend, still sporting a 0 ERA. The Nats are a game up on the Braves, a game and a half up on the Marlins. Washington has won 3 straight.
Now, last night big for obvious reasons, but when you can check that box early in the season that we can come back, that you have that feeling as a ball club, and you turn on the music in the clubhouse and you feel great after a come from behind like that. Sometimes those don't happen until July or August, if they ever happen, down by 5. And when you can do something like that the first week or 2 weeks of the season, you know, now Matt Williams knows we know how to come back. It's not the end of the world if we're down by 3, but if you're a ball club that's down by 3 and you consistently lose those games all year and you never know what that feels like, it's a very important thing to check that box, as I said early in the season, to know that you can do it.
Yeah, now the starters know, hey, these guys have my back too. If I get off to a rocky start, we're still in the game. 3-2 to Rendon with Worth next. Way outside. Walk number 2 by Tom Kohler. It was quite a comeback last night, Dan Coco.
It was indeed, Bob Carpenter, and I talked to Adam LaRoche about the comebacks earlier today. The Nats now have 4 comeback wins this season, and LaRoche admitted that last year, Nats hitters might have been pressing at times when they trailed late in games. This year, he says that's not the case. Multiple players have told me that they love the vibe in the dugout when the team trails. LaRoche said there's no panic with this group right now. They fall behind. They know, as FP was saying, they have the confidence to come back and overtake that deficit, and with each comeback win that they notch, that confidence only grows in those situations.
Yeah, it happened the first 3 games of the season up in New York.
Yeah, but I think LaRoche is the wrong guy to ask about panicking. I mean, he's never panicked about anything in his whole life.
Yeah, Dan had to give him the definition of that word before Adam could comment.
Panic?
Two balls, no strikes. Kohler suddenly losing the plate. Worth walked first time. LaRoche base hit. High and tight with a fastball, 3-0.
Good count to run on, good count to swing on.
Anthony Rendon doesn't run a lot. Matt Williams wants this ball club to run.
I love the 3-0 steal. Nobody ever throws over.
And Worth goes deep to left center. See you later. 2-0 Washington. And this man has 6 RBIs in his last 5 plate appearances.
Just another Worthquake. Not a big deal.
How bad does that 2-out walk hurt the Marlins? Here's LaRoche. Look out if he gets a first pitch fastball. And he launches one to right center. Going back is Ozuna. It is up against the wall. The ball is carrying. Ozuna thought he was going to catch that. Maybe short of the warning track. And the Nats dial some long distance here in the 3rd.
Boy, Ozuna deked me. I thought that ball was out of here by the way he pulled up at the very end. He looked like he was cruising. He had a beat on it. I thought, okay, that's just another long out, as we've seen in April so far. And then he pulled up, and I'm thinking, well, all of a sudden, this ball's got a chance to get out of here. LaRoche got all of that, too. Backspin, Korea, see where it hits. Yeah, top of the wall over the Geico sign. And we didn't even get a chance to show you Jason Worth's home run again because Adam LaRoche was hacking, and a 2-out double for Moses. Stay hot.
You have 5.5 more innings to tell us about that. So here's Zimmerman. Put the ball on the right side first time. Thrown out first baseman to pitcher. But 2-out lightning by the Nats here. Worth's homer, the team's 10th. On his second. Washington now in the top 5 in the league in home runs, batting average, and runs scored. Oh, 0-2.
So 3-0 green light for Jason Worth. Last night's hero, last at bat. Second pitch he saw a grand slam. This one the 4th pitch on a 3-0 count. And he is locked in, folks. There's no other way to put it.
Ryan reaches to spoil an 0-2 breaking ball. And the one thing that we have to note about this afternoon is Stephen Strasburg, even a bit of a long top of the first. He's done a great job of getting his team right back in the dugout ever since. Seems like the Nats have been batting a lot longer than the Marlins have. Zimmerman can't reach it on 0-2. A 2-out walk to Rendon. Worth has 6 RBIs after the last 2 walks to Rendon. And for Jason, his second of the year, RBI total shoots up to 8. And this man's on-base percentage is closing in on 500.
Stephen Strasburg, very efficient. The changeup right there to Mathis for strike 3. Disgusting. The curveball right there. The slider, excuse me, to Kohler. Nasty. And then he gets a ground out to Anthony Rendon. And watch him. Nice play, Anthony. Got you right there. Then he's talking to Toby Basner saying, was that pitch in? Yeah, a little bit in. Okay, I got you. But usually don't see that kind of verbalization, I guess, from Stephen Strasburg, pointing to teammates, saying nice play, talking to umpires. I mean, he's feeling it today. And he usually turns into a different guy when he has a lead.
Shadows right at the pitcher's mound now. Dietrich, Stanton, and Jones. 2, 3, 4 for the Marlins, top of the 4th. First pitch changeup.
Boy, you never see that. I mean, you'll see him drop a curveball in there for strike 1. But usually that changeup is devastating. It's with 2 strikes. It's the out pitch. If he's throwing that for a strike early, look out.
Facing only 1 over the minimum so far. His own glove work has kept the Marlins off the board. They were on the verge of a first inning run before Dietrich hit that hard comebacker. Strasburg knocked it down. Yelich didn't think he would and got trapped between third and home. Since then, no base runners. Fastball perfect at the knees.
And a fastball 95 miles an hour. Good frame by Sandy Leon. If his glove goes with the movement of that pitch, he takes it out of the zone for a ball. Stuck the landing. Nicely done.
And a 2-2 had the hitter reaching. So pitch number 1 changeup. Pitch number 5 changeup. After he got him to 2 strikes. Over to the left side, playable for Ryan Zimmerman.
He's throwing a changeup for strikes. That's something you never see from Steven Strasburg, and something you see from Jason Worth the last couple of nights are home runs. Let's take a look at that one more time. Last night, the grand salami. This one just puts the Nats up 2-0. But look how big he's seeing the baseball. Big, hairy guy hit ball far.
He knew he got it again. Giancarlo Stanton struck out on a nasty changeup first time. So this time he was swinging at the first fastball he saw, 96 away. Giancarlo in the series 2 for 9 with a walk, 1 RBI. Always huge to retire the man in front of him, especially in a 2-0 ball game. Fastball right high, and Ian Desmond right there. And I can't wait to ask Desmond if that's the hardest ground ball he's ever had hit right at him. It might be.
That ball was scorched. 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and it was probably about 110 to Ian Desmond.
Even Ian turned to see the replay of that one on the scoreboard.
That was a one-hopper. If that ball hits again, that might have been trouble. Nice play by Desmond.
Nats employ a slight shift on Garrett Jones, who swung early in the count first time. Hit the ball a long way. McLeod ran it down against his former Pirate teammate out in center field. Garrett Jones' career is 1 for 13 against Strasburg, with 7 strikeouts.
Strasburg's feeling it. Good rhythm. Good fastball command. It's up to 95, 96.
And part of all of this, he's averaging just over 10 pitches per inning. Strikeout number 5. Strasburg has retired 12 consecutive Marlins and now has a 2-run lead.
The bat flip. I mean, he does it on base hits, but the bigger the home run, the bigger the bat flip. You all remember the Game 4 bat flip. That was a good one. That's last night. I mean, that almost made it back to the dugout. Today, just a 2-run job early. So, I think in Game 4, he actually flipped the bat into the media lot out of the ballpark. But I always enjoy the signature toss of the bat from Jason Worth.
Well, here's to about 25 to 28 more of those this year. Harper leads off. Bryce jammed just enough. Flight out first time up. Takes a fastball there. Desmond and Leone. It's 6, 7, 8 here in the bottom of the 4th. And that ball is scorched into left field. The good news after the homer last night, Bryce's last 2 hits have gone to the left side. So the homer didn't get him into total pull mode here.
Well, it just relaxed him is what it did. And Matt Williams even said, I was more impressed with the line drive to left field than I was with the home run. He said, we all know Bryce can hit him far. But this swing right here, that's where the 300 hitters live. When you let a ball get deep and start using the whole field, now you make him come back to your strength on the inner half, and that's when the home runs come.
Bryce Harper now 3 for his last 5, going back to the home run last night. And here's Ian Desmond, who had an infield hit up the third baseline first time. That's about hit the Marlins 5-1. And he's done a good job of laying off a couple of off-speed pitches away. Have to come to this guy with a fastball. Look out. Kohler 59 pitches in the first 3 innings. Strasburg's thrown 41 in 4 innings. Ooh, Harper leaning, had to scramble back.
You know, sometimes Bryce has a tendency to look like he's stealing on certain pitches, and he tips it off. Like I always say, good base stealers either look like they're going every pitch or look like they're not going every pitch. They don't look different when they're thinking about going.
And Desmond got that fastball, tried to turn on it.
A 104 on the line drive. Major League average 77.
They're telling us Stanton's one hopper to Desmond was 113 miles an hour.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, we were joking last night with a runner on third and 1 out when the infield was in off Giancarlo Stanton. Can you imagine if Ian Desmond was in on that ball?
No, I don't even want to think about it, to be honest with you.
I mean, unless you have your goalie gear on, you play hockey. That would not be fun. Wouldn't even be fun with the gear on.
Nobody out here, 2-2. And Ian Desmond seeing the ball well. Kohler has baited him with 3 breaking balls away in this at bat, and he's taken them all. Now he's got to come to him, or else maybe have 2 guys on with Sandy Leon, the switch hitting catcher, waiting.
Let's see if Matt Williams starts Bryce Harper.
Kohler 2 strikeouts on the day, one of them the pitcher. The other Zimmerman, he got ahead of him 0-2.
Bigger lead.
Bryce going, good jump. That ball behind the runner and the second baseman, and Harper's going for third. He is safe. Bryce Harper goes from first to third on a ground out, and I just saw the pitcher, Tom Kohler, look at his manager and point to the third base bag. So now we've got pitchers wanting their managers to appeal plays.
And next thing you know, you'll have agents on the phone calling the clubhouse, telling them to appeal plays. How about Bryce Harper's hustle? The run till they tag you offense, off to the races. Took a big wide turn at second because he had to with the momentum of the steal. Doesn't even hesitate. As soon as he sees Dietrich throw the ball to first, with the left-handed Garrett Jones, decides to go all the way to third, and it was pretty close at third, but watch the hustle. Just a little hesitation across the bag, gets wide right there. Bob Henley telling him to get down, and it looked like he got his hand in there. Run till they tag you. Love it.
Well, one way to put an end to all this would be if you come out to not argue a play, you got to appeal. Because we're seeing managers come out on everything here. It looks like Bryce is safe.
Well, he's got good hair, I know that. And it looks like his hand got in there.
So that's huge. Marlins have to play their infield in against the number 8 hitter. They know if they fall behind Strasburg 3-0, it gets a whole lot tougher. So Harper gets to third with 1 out. Sandy Leon doesn't have a hit or an RBI as a Nat this time around. He's 0 for 8.
I mean, doesn't the offense just have a different feel when Bryce Harper's hitting?
And running.
And on the bases and just doing his thing.
Sandy Leon has 2 career Major League RBIs.
Well, right now he's got to spread out, choke up, shorten up his swing, and put it in play any way he can. Because he's got a good runner on third base. It's not going to take much on a sac fly. I mean, it doesn't have to be that deep. And even if he hits a ground ball, I believe with Strasburg on deck, Bryce Harper's going to be going contact play.
0-2. Leon serves it left side foul.
That's the right idea.
Good swing. Leon takes it off the plate inside. Sandy is a big leaguer, 8 hits in 39 at bats, counting 8 this year. 26-year-old switch hitting catcher from Venezuela. And that's on the corner to punch him out. Third strikeout by Kohler. Now he faces Strasburg as the infield backs up.
Well, it looked like the curveball that kind of backed up on Kohler and maybe just a hair too close to take. Call that could have went either way. Went Kohler's.
No, this is no easy out. Steven Strasburg, 10 career runs batted in. Looking for his first base hit and RBI of this year. He did go, strike 1.
So in the history of baseball, there's certain managers that come out a lot to argue calls. There's certain managers that make it count, meaning they're only going to come out and argue with umps when they have a legitimate gripe. But now with replay, what you're seeing is on every single close call, a manager come out of the dugout. So maybe Mike Redmond's a guy that really doesn't like to come out and argue unless it really, really means something. But now with replay, you're seeing every manager walk out of the dugout 4 or 5 times a game, and that's where the delay is coming with the process.
Yeah, and I don't think that was the spirit in which this whole thing was designed. Because ball clubs, managers, coaching staffs are going to figure out a way to exploit these things, and they already have.
When Felipe Alou came out of the dugout, you knew he had a legitimate gripe. There's certain managers that are look-at-me managers that come out no matter what. Now everybody's coming out.
And that's on the inside corner to Strasburg. Kohler pulls out a couple of strikeouts after the Harper leadoff base hit. Tidal Basin crowded this time of the year. Look out for a guy who's a TV man jogging around that path.
Life's most important connections. 2-0 Nats head to the top of the fifth. Adam LaRoche 2 for 2. He's got to double his second of the year. Steven Strasburg absolutely pounding the strike zone in. Let's take a look at it one more time. Jason Worth, 3-0 count. I'll say it again. Big hairy guy hit ball far. Did it last night with a grand slam. Followed up with a 2-run job here to put the Nats up by 2. And there's the helmet taker offer guy, Ian Desmond. Last night he had a tough one because Jason Worth was going by him very quick, all amped up with the grand slam. And you see the power zone from Worth. That fourth pitch.
Long gone. By the way, Worth and Rendon have each gotten on base via a hit, walk, or being hit by a pitch at least once in every game this season. Rendon walked ahead of that home run. So these guys are deadly right now in the 2 and 3 spots, getting on base, producing runs. Strasburg a strike to Casey McGee. 5th inning underway on only his 42nd pitch of the game. McGee hit the hard comebacker that Strasburg knocked over by the first baseline first time and threw him out. And that's that 78-mile-an-hour curveball from one side of the dish to the other.
It's 61% heat.
And McGee chops it to third. Zimmerman on the run. Simple play for him. Casey McGee, by the way, has more RBIs than anybody in baseball who has not hit a home run. The Nats have stopped in this series 1 for 10.
You see Ryan playing shallow, gets the in-between hop, not a problem. Slinging it underhand. He likes to play on the run, and I would imagine every chance he gets with a slow hit high hopper, he's going to play it on the run so he can throw down low like he just did.
Next up, Marcell Ozuna, the center fielder. Strasburg's second strikeout victim back in the 2nd inning.
The one part a lot of people are talking about with Ryan Zimmerman, if he's going to start slinging it down low like that every single time, if you're the pitcher, you might have to hit the deck.
They'll do that to get it out. Slider, then a curveball. Strike 1, then ball 1. Stevens got him guessing, and along with this, we have to give a little tip of the Nats cap to Sandy Leon, the way he's handling Strasburg today. I don't see a whole lot of shaking going on, and he and his pitcher seem to be on the same page here. Sandy calling some of those first pitch sliders and changeups. Look at that changeup. 89. My goodness, what do you do with that?
Nothing. Like I said before on the strikeout to Jeff Mathis, not fair. I mean, that's the only thing you can say about this pitch. Look at the grip right there. Kind of out on the fingertips, turning it over. 89 miles an hour with tremendous, and I mean tremendous sink at the end. Ozuna right over the top. That's why you got to get that fastball off Strasburg. I mean, that's the game plan, right? When you think about the curveball and the changeup, pretty much unhittable at times. And that's why you see teams swinging early against Steven. And it worked against Jordan Zimmerman last night for the Marlins.
And that slider stays up high, 2-0. 2-0 Nationals on the Jason Worth 3rd inning homer with 2 outs after a walk to Rendon. And on 2-0, he just reaches back for 95. And then that one running in on the hitter, foul tip, counts even. So 3 straight fastballs to Adeiny Echeverria. Contact guy hitting 7th today. He's hit up higher in the order before. Came in hitting .378.
Go slider away right here. Oh, going in.
Tried to bury the fastball in there, and it's off the glove of Ian Desmond. Could be the Nats' second error of the day. They'd made only 4 in the first 8 games of the season. That'll be Desmond's first of the year.
Yeah, ball hit hard by Echeverria right here. Tricky little hop at the end, going to his left. Ball stays down. Watch the ball kind of hug the dirt. And then at the last second, come up and bite him in the heel.
That ends a streak of 14 consecutive batters retired. Number 8 hitter, the catcher Jeff Mathis. A 195 career hitter who's been in the big leagues for parts of 10 years. Longtime Angel, Blue Jays, and then Miami for 73 games last year.
Well, you got to be some kind of defensive receiver to hit that for your career and keep getting jobs. That speaks volumes of maybe the person and the defender that Jeff Mathis is.
Well, one of the best scouts down in Florida is Casey Kochman's dad, Tom. He signed Jeff Mathis. He was a #1 draft choice for the Angels, 33rd player taken back in '01. He was a high school quarterback at Marianna, Florida, recruited by the Seminoles to come to Florida State. Echeverria 1 for 2 in stolen bases. Last year as a rookie, he stole 11, but he was caught 10 times.
It's a huge lead. Goodness.
It is.
He just got out there another step.
88 on the hard slider away. No balls, 2 strikes.
Well, now you can go if you're Echeverria at first base, because you're not going to walk Mathis in a 2-strike count. And if you get there and it happens to be a ball, you got a chance for a run. So if he gets a jump, it's flags up with 2 strikes.
He'll be holding, and Strasburg throws in the dirt, low and away, blocked well by Sandy Leon.
Yeah, normally I'd say with 2 outs, you have to steal second early in the count to give the hitter time to drive you in. But if you're hitting 7th and 8 is up, it's okay to steal in a 2-strike count, because there's no way they're going to walk a batter intentionally to get to the pitcher when you already got 2 strikes on him.
Top of the 5th inning, a runner aboard with 2 outs. Pitcher on deck. That is paint on the outside corner. 2 Ks in the inning, 7 in the game, and Steven Strasburg has something special going on today. 1 hit through 5.
Baseball 2-0 heading to the bottom of the 5th inning. Why wouldn't you be at the yard, folks? Spring flex packs are on sale now. Pick 6 games in April and May and get a 7th absolutely positively free. That's right. Plus a Nationals beach towel. That's awesome. We're going to Miami. Carp's going to be on the beach in his Speedo, and a $5 added value on each ticket. For spring flex pack details, visit nationals.com/flex.
You can say perfect day for a game every inning from now through the top of the 9th.
She's got her glove. I love it. Bring your picker to the yard. That's so nice.
Future Nat second baseman right there. We're going to the bottom of the 5th inning. McLouth, Rendon, and Worth. Nate has flied to left twice. How good is this offense once Denard Span gears things up and McLouth spells him from time to time effectively? As I mentioned earlier, Denard did collect a couple of hits last 2 times up last evening, but really the leadoff spot hasn't given the Nats a ton of offense just yet. And McLouth again out to left field, and 3 times in a row to Yelich. Here's a number for you, because Denard Span has done a lot of hitting late in ball games. From the 4th inning on this year, the Nats have outscored their opponents 35-14. That's a plus 21, and Span has been in the middle of some of that.
He's like Jimmy Fallon. He comes on late.
And evidently Stephen Colbert sometime soon. Anthony Rendon 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored ahead of the Worth. Left center field blast into the red seats.
Great sign. A cute little natted dude right there holding that sign up. I want you to hold that thing up for 7 innings and don't you put it down.
Until the guy behind you gets mad. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Kid, love the sign, but I paid $28 to sit here. Come on. Rendon looks at the breaking ball. If he doesn't swing, it can't be a strike, right? He's seeing it well. Anthony has walked today for the 2nd time this season. And that is nasty. A lock-em-up curveball. That's 3 strikeouts in the last 4 hitters for Tom Colan.
Well, you're not thinking about a 3-2 curveball with nobody on. This is a pitch that might creep in the back of your head with runners in scoring position, but Anthony Rendon looking all fastball right there in a 3-2 count. And he got a pretty nasty curveball for a strike.
Yeah, Nissan Pitch Track showed a beauty. So here's Worth with 2 outs and the bases empty. On base today twice. He's been on base 3 consecutive plate appearances. So his last 4 swings have produced 7 RBIs.
It's funny, yesterday before the game he was saying he really hasn't had any RBI opportunities. And I told him before the game yesterday, don't worry, they come in bunches. Little did we both know that it would be last night and today.
Fastball on 0-2 got inside. Echeverria throws out Worth, and the Nationals go 1-2-3 for the first time today into the 6th inning. Can't wait to watch Strasburg out there again. Didn't you tell me the other day that Abe is still winless?
I don't know. Yeah.
George out to a big lead, but Lincoln's always been a closer. No, it was Tom Jefferson, I think you said, that hadn't won one. Sorry about that. And there's Abe. Always a great closer.
Taft needs to get on my organic juice thing. He is gaining way too much weight.
Well, that P, he's had a century to straighten that thing out. He hasn't tightened it up yet.
That's right. You got to clean it up.
Top of the 6th inning. Tom Kohler, the hitter.
Mixing some CrossFit.
Struck out looking first time. Strasburg averaging 12 pitches per inning. So through 5, 60 pitches, 45 in the strike zone. An amazing ratio. Moore with the fastball today. And a bouncer deep short. Pitcher running. There's a chance, but it's offline. Did LaRoche make the tag? I don't think so. He was trying to swipe it and grab that ball in one motion. Should be a base hit for Tom Kohler.
Well, he wouldn't have gone back again to try to get him if he had tagged him the first time, but a nice range by Ian Desmond right here. Got the in-between hop, got rid of it quick. Kohler runs pretty good, getting down the line, and you see him making the adjustment right there, diving for the bag for the infield single.
So their pitcher gets their second base hit of the day. The man who got the first one leading off the game is in the box, Christian Yelich. This guy can fly. Tough man to double up. Zimmerman on the grass at third. And he swings through a changeup. Strike one.
Well, the reason that Strasburg added the slider to his repertoire this year is to get people off the first pitch fastball. But if he can get the feel for the changeup like he has today, meaning throwing it early in the count, 4 strikes, problem solved. I mean, he doesn't have to worry about the ambush first pitch fastball like we've seen a lot of teams do against him. You throw that changeup in there, it looks just like the heater, about 7-8 miles an hour slower, and it's got way more movement. And it's a field pitch, and today he's got a tremendous feel for the changeup.
Marlins box score. The hits are bookends. First man of the day and the most recent man of the day. And in between, 15 out of 16 batters retired. Strasburg 88 away, and he strikes out Christian Yelich. Strikeout number 8.
And even though the changeup is unbelievable for Strasburg today, right now with the shadows, you see that ball start bright at the beginning and then turn dark. No way Yelich or any of these hitters can pick up the off speed right now, especially the changeup from Strasburg. You know, maybe you get lucky and you see the side spin on a curveball or a slider. But the fastball and changeup right now, to decipher both of those when it's starting bright and turning dark is almost impossible.
Well, and as we said back in the second inning, great day to get the early lead and then turn your starter loose. Because right now, that batter's eye out in center field in full sunshine. And the ball's in the dark.
And I think the first couple of feet it starts with some sun on it, then gets dark.
Yeah. Ooh, and Dietrich acts like that gets him. And he's down to first base. And suddenly, the lead run comes into the batter's box in the presence of Giancarlo Stanton. A couple of unlikely things, a hit by the pitcher and a hit batter.
He got it right on the pad, and by the looks of his forearm, he might have more protection on his forearm than with that elbow pad. He's got some pipes. Been hit there before. Doesn't feel good. Anybody that's ever bumped their funny bone? Imagine a fastball mid-90s hitting it. It is time for you to tweet your photo right now using hashtag #MASSINNationals for a chance to have it shown on our broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T.
Well, now first base coach Perry Hill alongside there.
Little situation brewing here with Giancarlo Stanton coming up.
Things can change in a hurry in a low-scoring game. Stanton today has struck out on a changeup and hit a one-hop rocket to Ian Desmond. He steals a strike with the slider.
First pitch fastball for strikes, first pitch sliders for strikes, first pitch changeups for strikes. Well, that's
He's got Giancarlo a little out of sorts right now.
That's just not seeing the baseball. I mean, you talk about what time it is right now. Whenever you lean up against the cage for a 7 o'clock start, the hitters in the first group usually start hitting right about now. And to a man, even in BP, they say they have trouble picking up a baseball. That's from a coach throwing about 50.
Then he went changeup down and in. Two-nothing ball game, top of the 6th. That is on the inside corner. Stanton said something to Toby Basner, walked away, and strikeout number 9.
We'll give an assist to Sandy Leon right here on the frame job of the fastball. Great pitch from Strasburg right here, 95 miles an hour. But we talked about it last night with Jose Lobaton, the subtle turn of the wrist to get a borderline pitch in your favor, and that's exactly what Sandy Leon does right there. Even the little knee tuck, as you saw in the Exmo, kind of brings that ball back toward the plate and buys you a call. Nice job, Leon.
Here's Garrett Jones, who was one of those Pirates who saw Strasburg the first time out on that 14 strikeout night 4 years ago. And ever since then, Garrett hasn't been able to do much of anything against Steven. He's retired him twice today. But still a dangerous left-handed batter with power if he runs into one. Long fly to center, swinging strikeout.
I mean, it's not impossible to hit right now. It's just really hard. I mean, you could run into a fastball if you guess right and get it. But there's no way you can pick up the changeup.
Crowd making noise here with 2 outs in the 6th. Well, maybe that 95 weigh-in sets up something down and away. Last 2 innings a little longer for Steven. 19 pitches in the 5th. He's about to throw his 18th here. And that will end the 6th inning with strikeout number 10.
96th and with the fastball.
I'd say the average fastball is on the rise in more ways than one today.
Union or other group events in Nats Park this season. The bigger the group, the bigger the savings. So if you like bringing 20,000 people, you're going to get tremendous savings. For more information, call 202-675-NATS or visit nationals.com/groups. There's a group of people.
You bring 20,000, the team will dedicate the game to you that night.
Yeah.
2-0 Nats on a two-hitter by Strasburg so far. 13th career 10 strikeout game. And a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, look forward to Miller Time later in the game. Brought to you by Miller Lite. Not lost in all of this is the fact that even though he's thrown 88 pitches, Tom Kohler has battled the Nats well. He walked Rendon with 2 outs in the third, gave up a homer to Worth. Other than that, he has shut down the Nats on 2 hits. Kohler's won his last 3 starts going back to last year, but the Marlins have given him great run support at over 7 runs a game. He's using that curveball now in the shadows to befuddle hitters from both sides of the plate. Fastball rides back to the inside corner, 0-2. Adam LaRoche today, perfect day, pulled a single, and then nearly homered off the wall deep in right center. That's where the wall's about 15 feet tall. He hit it at least 3/4 of the way up. So single double. And in this series, LaRoche is 6 for 10 with an RBI and a walk. He doubled right after the Worth homer, the big blow back in the third. Worth and LaRoche aboard in the first. Harper a leadoff single, hard hit the other way in the fourth. And Ian Desmond has an infield hit. Pretty nasty right there, and that's 6 Ks for Kohler. And he didn't strike anybody out until the 3rd inning. Ryan Zimmerman 0 for 2, ground ball to the right side and a strikeout. Slider up and away. Threw Ryan a couple of nasty breaking balls last time to get ahead before whiffing him. Big rip at a fastball. Kohler's retired 7 straight since the Harper base hit in the 4th. Busted bat, shortstop to his left. Echeverria from behind the bag, 2 down. It's on to Atlanta. Braves with night games tomorrow and Saturday. A little later tomorrow night, 7:30. And then on to the Marlins. We shall play 3 consecutive night games there next week. But here's your next 5. Johnny and Ray with Nats Extra before and after every Nationals game here on Masson.
And the Nats came home, then come home and play the Braves and the Marlins again, and then we go back to Atlanta and Miami, and that's the only 2 teams we play all year.
And you sound like Bill Murray. Harper will pull it right side. For those of you confused, it will be Cardinals Angels on the next homestand. It only seems like the Nats play only the Braves and the Fish.
7th inning here at Nats Park in D.C. Steven Strasburg has thrown 6 scoreless innings so far today on just 78 pitches, which is especially important today given the state of the Nationals bullpen. Manager Matt Williams said earlier today that Craig Stammen was unavailable today, given that he threw 3 1/3 scoreless innings yesterday. Ross Detweiler also threw an inning yesterday, and the Nats hope to stay off of him. So tomorrow's scheduled starter, Tanner Roark, was actually an option in the bullpen today if the Nationals needed him. It looks like they won't, as Strasburg has gotten deep into this game with a low pitch count, but the Nats could have had to shuffle things around if Strasburg didn't deliver today on the mound.
Yeah, good call, Dan. Stammen 53 pitches last night. Detweiler 19, Storen 17, Clippard 24, Soriano 26. So it took the Nationals 50 pitches to get through the 8th and 9th innings last night. Strasburg's 79th pitch of the day, fouled away by Casey McGee, and he bangs a fastball to the outside corner, 0-2.
Yeah, the changeup from Strasburg today has just been unreal, but the fastball command is what everything has worked off of, and you see right there, perfect example, 95 on the black.
Then you can show him a fastball when you have him 0-2. Get his eye level up a little bit. We'll see how Steven follows it up against McGee, who's facing him for the first time. 0 for 2 against Steven. Threw him the changeup. The count is even, 2-2. Only game in baseball right now. Pirates won at Chicago 5-4. American League, A's won at Minnesota 6-1. Everything else tonight. Got him upstairs. Strikeout number 11. So much you can do when you're ahead of hitters.
I mean, maybe with the exception of the first inning, Steven Strasburg has been on cruise control here. So Matt Williams not a guy that really looks at pitch count per se, you know, just the number. He likes to look at high stress innings, and so far Steven Strasburg maybe, just maybe, has had one.
How about 37 times 11 today? $407 in strikeouts for the Children's Inn at NIH, thanks to our DC area Toyota dealers. $37 for every K, and Steven doing his part today and then some. Foul ball, Marcell Ozuna. And that ball is going to fly way out of here from Marcell Ozuna. At least halfway up the blue seats. And suddenly a 2-1 game. What a sound that was.
Well, I guess fastball got it and got all of it. Pulled his hands in nice, got the barrel of the baseball, and that was not a cheap one, folks. Halfway up the bleachers and left. Right where Strasburg wanted it, but right where Ozuna was guessing. And they've been throwing him a lot of off speed this whole series because he's a good fastball hitter, and he just showed you why.
Ozuna's second of the year, his 5th big league home run. Marlins have hit 6 home runs on the year. They're in the bottom 2 in the league in power. They're not going to hit a lot of home runs playing in that ballpark. Giancarlo will get his share. Garrett Jones probably as well.
Not phased, right back in the strike zone to an 0-2 count.
Yep, and that was a nice curveball to Echeverria that buckled him.
That's going to happen when you're a power pitcher. You're going to supply a lot of the pop to hitters, and they're going to beat you on good pitches, and that's what just happened. That wasn't a bad pitch from Strasburg. And you kind of tell by his mindset right there. He didn't let it bother him. Right back in the strike zone. Knows he's got his good stuff today. No panic.
Nasty changeup at 90. Strikeout number 12.
And it's one thing if you're having one of those outings where you can't hit a spot, your stuff's not jumping out of your hand, your release points all over the place, and somebody goes deep. When you're doing what Strasburg has done here today, and all 4 pitches are being thrown for strikes whenever you want, you know, sometimes you got to tip your cap. Just like a pitcher making a good pitch on a hitter, you tip your cap. And on the home run to Ozuna, tip your cap.
Here's Mathis. Marlins catcher takes a slider up and in. He has struck out twice. Swinging to lead off the 3rd. Looking to end the 5th.
'89 on the slider. Jerry Blevins getting hot in the Nats bullpen.
Yeah, he popped up after the home run. Pitcher on deck, so the Marlins have their bullpen working, and Greg Dobbs, their pinch hitter, on deck, and he's had 15 career at bats against Steven Strasburg. And right now it's Strasburg and Mathis.
Pitch number 92, 96.
And out of play, straight back. It's like shooting your age in golf. 7th inning, as long as your fastball is higher than your pitch count, that's pretty good. Two Ks in this inning. He has struck out the last 5 he's retired, and that was very close. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I'd say it's more than very close. Let's see what Pitch Track has to say. Good frame by Leon. Didn't get the call.
Pitch Track says we should be running a commercial right now. 3-2. Mathis doing a good job. Overpowered on that one, but he got enough of it.
They're just airing out the tank right now. 95 on the pitch before that, 96 on that one.
And now the pitch count is nearing 100. So it could be the bullpens from here on.
I mean, you could hook him right here if you want to get creative, or just play good old-fashioned country hardball and see if he can hit your 96.
Great at bat by Jeff Mathis. Strasburg, first walk today. He's hit a batter, and that'll get Greg Dobbs to the plate, who, as I mentioned, has faced Strasburg in his career 15 times.
That's going to do it for Strasburg. Matt Williams coming out for a double switch.
That was a 10-pinch walk. And Dobbs will not be facing Steven Strasburg, we don't think.
What a day for the big right-hander. He's going to get some kind of ovation right here when he comes off the mound. Unbelievable stuff. The changeup, unhittable. The fastball command was amazing. 95, 96 to end it, and by far the best outing for Strasburg this year.
1 walk, 12 strikeouts, 98 pitches, 77 strikes. He's hearing it from the fans, but he'd be the first to tell you he would have loved to complete it at least this inning.
are in the bottom of the 7th. Jerry Blevins on to face pinch hitter Reed Johnson. Jason Worth, the story of the offense for the Nats. Adam LaRoche, a couple of hits. But Steven Strasburg, 12K performance, and the changeup from Strasburg today as good as we've ever seen it. Obviously based on the fastball and the fastball command. But the thing I was most impressed with the changeup, not these strikeouts we're showing you. These are dirty, there's no doubt. The fact that he threw it for a strike early in the count to keep the Marlins, who've shown how aggressive they've been in the series, off of his fastball. These are all put-away changeups, and that's what we've gotten used to with Strasburg over the years, him using it for an out pitch. But today he commanded it early in the count for strikes, something I don't know that I've ever seen from him. It was very impressive.
Anthony Rendon goes to third base. So the pitcher sitting in the number 5 slot, vacated by Ryan Zimmerman. Danny Espinosa on the double switch, bats 9th. He'll be up 3rd in the bottom of the 7th. Reed Johnson for Greg Dobbs here. So the Marlins burn their best left-handed pinch hitter and bring in Reed Johnson, who has not faced Jerry Blevins before. Blevins, a 1/3 of an inning in game 1 of this series. On Tuesday night, he walked Garrett Jones, but he flew out Jared Saltalamacchia in the 7th inning. Looked like a breaking ball, diving down and in to the right-handed batter. Nationals Park in a game that started at 4:07. Steven Strasburg brilliant through 6 2/3. A Jason Worth 2-run homer in the 3rd after a Rendon walk. The difference in this 2-1 game. Reed Johnson 1 for 2 with an RBI as a pinch hitter for the Marlins already. This guy is always a tough out. Got jammed. Rendon to his left and right to Espinosa. Blevins gets out of the inning. Going to the bottom of the 7th. It's a good day at Nats Park to be a Steven Strasburg fan. He put on quite a show today. Could be the winning pitcher. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Washington Nationals.
Mike Dunn on for the Marlins as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. I'm digging that Nats hat in the bottom right. Hey, MLB TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is celebrating 12 years. That's right. Join millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices. Visit nationals.com for details.
Left-hander Mike Dunn, 28-year-old veteran, 75 games for the Marlins last year. 60 and 72 in the 2 years before that. He pitched the 8th inning On Tuesday night, it wasn't a good inning for him. Anthony Rendon got in for that 2-run double off the left field wall after he'd walked Worth and given up a LaRoche base hit. He faces Ian Desmond leading off bottom 7, and this would be a wonderful time for the Nats to get the offense restarted.
Yeah, 2 pitches, fastball averaging 94, slider averaging 87.
Desmond against Dunn, 2 for 4 career. First pitch, breaking ball. Ian today 1 for 2 with an infield hit. It was his home run in this inning on Sunday that kind of changed the whole weekend and changed the entire homestand. Led the Nats to a win over the Braves, badly needed after they dropped the first 2. And after an off day Monday, they charged right into this series with a chance to sweep Miami.
I'll tell you what, whatever happens in this game, I'm still sticking to my call that the Marlins are going to be a surprise team this year. This is a good young team with a lot of good players, and especially with Jose Fernandez at the front of the rotation. Nathan Eovaldi, a guy that throws 100 miles an hour. Mike Redmond's got a good squad, and these have been good games.
Target was inside. He missed way away. And a breaking ball gets Ian Desmond. 7 strikeout by Miami pitching today.
We have an AT&T fan photo for you right there. All right. It's the front entrance to Nats Park. So we promised you earlier in the game we'd show your photos. There it is.
You know, you go through the home plate gate, you got a better chance of your picture taken than out in center field.
Yeah, that might be the best kept secret at Nats Park, the front entrance.
There are other gates.
It's gorgeous.
There's a first base gate, a home plate gate, one over on South Capitol Street.
You walk in and it has the whole history of baseball in Washington.
If you've never done that, take a walk around the park next time before you come in. Sandy Leon was 4 for 8 last year as a right-handed batter.
Mike Dunn had a little slip right there. And I think his manager is going to come out and make sure he's okay. Sean Cunningham, the Marlins trainer, is going to come out and look too.
Checking the landing area was done.
I guess Chuck Hernandez, the pitching coach, coming out, but let's check out the last pitch.
Looked like he got caught. Looked like he kind of tried to lift his right foot out of that landing area and just wouldn't come out.
Yeah, the clay underneath the dirt. Sometimes your cleats will stick right in that clay. Checking to make sure they're not all clogged up.
And a fastball, 2-1. Sandy Leon batting left-handed. Bounced into a 4-6-3 double play. Called out on strikes in the 4th. That was when Bryce Harper was at third base with 1 out. Nats had a chance to take a 3-run lead. We're seeing both sides dealing today. 11-1 in the last 12 here, going back to the beginning of last year. And 16 out of 21 at Nationals Park. against the Fish, who used to come in here and really win regularly.
Kind of give you an idea of what Matt Williams thinks of Aaron Barrett in a one-run baseball game. He is getting hot in the Nats bullpen. How about that?
As I mentioned, Tyler Clippard had to throw 24 pitches last night. He threw 16 the night before in the 5-0 win. Barrett has not pitched since an 18-pitch, 10-strike 9th inning on Tuesday.
Yeah, he's not usually a close game ahead guy. He'll be a, if the game's even, maybe one run behind guy. But because of what you said with Clippard, Matt Williams going to use him here and see what happens.
Espinosa bunting for a hit, and he's got one. Thought the only chance was if Dunn let it go for Casey McGee. And Danny Espinosa is aboard with 2 outs.
With bunting so much of a dinosaur in today's game, it's hilarious to me how you see teams just go full panic mode when somebody bunts. I mean, it's happened here a couple times in this series. We saw it last night with Denard Span's base hit bunt. It's still a great play, and it's nice to see people use it at times. And now you want to wonder if Danny Espinosa is going to try to steal here early in the count.
Well, Nate McCloud's a guy who can take a pitch or two, but he's not going to be the hitter. We're going to see Tyler Moore come into the leadoff spot here. And you've always got Denard Span in the dugout for late inning defense.
Well, that's what's going to happen. Tyler Moore is going to get the at-bat. Denard Span will go to center field, because you always want your best defense on the field with a one-run lead or a small lead late. So Span's got his goggles on, his glasses ready. And Tyler Moore going to get an at-bat.
Tyler Moore needs at-bats. He's 0 for 1. And against Mike Dunn career, he's 1 for 3. Two strikeouts to start the inning. Espinosa's base hit. And now Tyler Moore with all that power stepping in.
Guess and go here, meaning you're going to bet they don't throw over 3 times in a row. Most teams don't. As soon as he picks up his foot going, if he's got you, try to beat the relay.
Target inner half. Runner going. Low and away the pitch. And safe at second. Danny Espinosa. His first steal of the year.
Pretty good throw by Jeff Mathis to make this that close. Done very quick to the plate. Espinosa going first move all the way. And I thought he had this bag stolen by a mile. It was pretty close at the end. But a good job by Danny Espinosa to get in scoring position for Tyler Moore.
Danny Espinosa stole 20 bases as recently as 2 years ago. That was his 39th career steal. Kind of a quandary for the Miami outfield. They're playing Tyler Moore, a power hitter, pretty shallow because of the runner at second. He hits a ball with authority. He's going to hit one over somebody's head. It's a breaking ball that's somehow mishitting Tyler.
So both teams have their challenges left, but since it's the 7th inning, is he out? It looks like he got him on the arm before his foot got there.
You are right. Tagged him high. Too late now.
Well, I love how the truck showed that one after a pitch. Oh, that's good stuff. That's all part of it. I'm being told unintentional.
And that's ball 3, low and inside to Tyler Moore. That would be kind of a crazy thing. If that was appealed, the call got overturned, and then you lose Tyler Moore for the rest of the game, because that would have happened during his at bat.
So do you burn a player in that situation? I guess you do.
He would still be in there, but as you mentioned, Matt would have to make a sub for defense because McLouth is out.
Get half an at bat for that?
3 balls, 1 strike. Tyler had a good rip at 94.
I think you see the value of Danny Espinosa off the bench late in the game. Obviously, he's going to make your defense better wherever you put him. But to get on base, steal a base, make your defense improve late in the game, I mean, he has tremendous value as a bench player, and he's going to get his share of starts.
That's a hard-breaking ball down and in. Dunn strikes out the side. The Nats have stranded 5. A very interesting final 2 innings left, maybe an inning and a half. A 2-1 ball game full of lots of action today here at Nationals Park. Nats have hit the Marlins 6-3. Jerry Blevins stays in the game because they have 2 left-handed batters coming up. Denard Span, of course, in center field. And it looks like he's been put into the leadoff spot. Well, he'd have to be because with the pitcher still in the game, no double switch. Kristen Yelich shows bunt, takes a good breaking ball that slides its way to the outside corner. He's 1 for 3 today. Top of the 8th. There's the big hook. Big time sweep on that.
I'll tell you what, I was a big fan of Yelich last year when I saw him play. And I'm an even bigger fan after this series. He reminds me of a young Sean Green.
Good call, yeah. Same kind of build, huh?
Yeah.
He'll develop power as he goes along. Then Blevins takes off of the curveball and strikes him out on 3 pitches. So he's 2/3 of the way home in his assignment. Dietrich coming up, and then you think it'll be Barrett for Stanton next.
You look at the big bender right here, 73 miles an hour, and it looked like Yelich might have been thinking about that fastball in as his front side leaves early. And a pretty good pitch from Jerry Blevins.
Bat was gone before the ball got there. Here's Dietrich, 0 for 2, hit by a pitch. Target in. So it's a Blevins fastball that just misses.
What's this guy got to worry about? He's got serious pop. Make him beat you the other way. He showed us the other night he's got pull side pop. And he doesn't get cheated.
Two balls, no strikes. Broken bat. Maybe it keeps that ball in play. Here comes Worth, and he slides and can't get there, and neither could Espinosa.
I mean, that ball had so much inside-out rotation on it. Maybe because of the broken bat, it actually came back. It looked like it was going to be in the stands. It kind of twirled back toward Worth. And if you watch Jason, he just took a peek at the end to see where Danny Espinosa was. And he pulled up. Watch Worth take his eye off the ball and see where Espinosa is right at the last second. And that was just perfectly placed. Good hustle by both guys. Potomac Nats kick off their 2014 home campaign this week at Fitzner Stadium in Woodbridge, Virginia. Giveaway and promotions include the magnet schedule, team poster, dollar hot dogs, fireworks. Kids run the bases during and after the game. For tickets, see the P-Nats at the Fitz.
2 balls, 1 strike. 86 upstairs. Dietrich couldn't get to it. Well, he's got a good curveball going today. He's thrown all of his breaking stuff for strikes.
Dietrich stayed in there nice.
Got him on a fastball upstairs. Jerry Blevins retires 3 in a row. And here comes Matt Williams. And we're about to see a matchup that we could be seeing for a few years, too.
Yeah, pretty good pitch right here, climbing the ladder from Jerry Blevins for strike 3. Off of the curveball, tough to take. Dietrich chases high. And how about this matchup coming up? Aaron Barrett versus Giancarlo Stanton. Fasten your seatbelt, buckle up, put your helmet on. This is going to be fun.
Giancarlo, can you hit a slider? We may be about to find out.
large human coming up next. And just like we promised earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Let's check out the matchup between Steven Strasburg and Giancarlo Stanton today. Stanton's first at-bat, top of the first inning. Stanton goes with a changeup, or Strasburg goes with his changeup, excuse me. And then this ground ball to Ian Desmond, very routine at 113 miles an hour. And how about the fastball framed nicely by Sandy Leon right there. And I don't know that Stanton saw the ball well that at-bat. That's when the shadows were at their worst.
Slider high, Barrett and Stanton here. And if the future plans the Nats have for Barrett are anything like we think they are, and Stanton re-signs with the Marlins, you could see these guys locking horns for quite a while down the road. A lot of break on that one. 1 ball, 1 strike. Aaron's been good. First major league win on opening day when the Nats came from behind to beat the Mets. .94 with run to the outside corner.
Well, sometimes the save is in the 8th inning, but in a 1-run baseball game against Giancarlo Stanton, the save is right here, right now.
Tried to go front door with that breaking ball. Kind of backed up on him. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Look out, Brett Butler.
That was 172.
He coaches third base. About where I used to see Rene Latchman coach third with Mark McGuire hitting.
Yeah, short left field, Rover.
He's deeper than Rendon.
Yeah, he's definitely not in the box, that's for sure.
It's like the coach's box in basketball. It's pretty imaginary. Count remains 2-2. From that very first base end of the pitching rubber. Swing and a miss on a slider. And Aaron Barrett continues to impress at the major league level.
Struck him out with a slider, then stared him down as he's going off the field. How about that for a young pitcher? Aaron Barrett, fearless.
How about his first 2 weeks in the big leagues? To you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you. And by Ocean City, Maryland. Put your vacation days to good use in Ocean City, Maryland. Book now at OCOcean.com. Well, the Nats bringing out some power arms today. Strasburg, Blevins in between with 2 Ks, and now Barrett against Stanton.
Yeah, the nuclear slider right here for strike 3, and watch the frustration from Giancarlo Stanton. Throws his stuff down. And I don't know that Aaron Barrett was staring him down, just kind of watching him throw his equipment, and that slider will make a lot of hitters frustrated.
You like a young pitcher with a fastball and a slider like that and a little bit of mean to go with it. Archimedes Caminero. He's having a hard time sitting down in there, isn't he?
Well, that's big boy stuff. You come into a one-run baseball game in the 8th inning. A Steven Strasburg start. And you strike out one of the most feared power hitters in baseball. That's mature stuff.
Hard ball to left. Rendon extending his hitting streak. Digging for 2. He's hit in all 9 games this year.
And he's on pace to have a 162-game hitting streak.
That would be a record.
That would be a record.
By about 3.5 months.
So an 0 for 2 into a 1 for 3. Got a fastball in the inner half. Pulled his hands in. Remember when he first got called up last year? That's a pitch he really had trouble getting to. The mid to upper 90s fastball in the inner half. He tried to inside out it a lot. Rick Shue worked with him. Got his hands in a position where he could just drop the barrel on the inside pitch. And it's made a world of difference in his start here in 2014. You can't get Rendon out on the inner half with hard stuff like you could last year because of the adjustments he made.
Yeah, he's getting to everything now. Huge run. Worth is not out there just to advance him. He wants to knock him in. Now there is a bit of a difference in the lineup now because after Worth is LaRoche, but then instead of Ryan Zimmerman is the pitcher's spot. And the Nats do have Kevin Franzen, right-handed hitter. Only other available guy, the switch hitting catcher Lobaton. There's Worth taking care of business. Here comes Rendon, and the Nets have first and third, nobody out. That ball was hit so hard, Bob Henley didn't want to try it with nobody out. And Jason Worth is on for the 3rd time.
Big hairy guy hit ball hard that time, maybe too hard to score Rendon. But when you're going good, don't you get fastballs right down the middle all the time? And Jason Worth taking advantage of a center cut fastball from Caminero, rides it up the middle. And I thought Rendon had a chance to score. Bob Henley with nobody out, playing it safe and stops him. Ozuna has a good arm in center field, so with nobody out, Henley not wanting to take the chance. And LaRoche with 2 knocks gets a chance to drive in Rendon.
Caminero pitch in the 6th inning last night. Adam LaRoche did not face him.
Well, do you steal right here if you're Worth? They have the infield in, and then you can pitch around LaRoche. I wonder if he's going to go. Look at this.
He's holding.
I mean, I don't know that they'd be interested in throwing through right now based on their positioning, infield in. Echeverria taking a couple of steps towards second, but he was in the hole on the first pitch.
And Bob Henley's doing a lot of pacing over there back and forth with the runner Rendon, making sure Anthony's aware of everything going on here. 0-1 and a good take by Adam to even the count. Then he calmly raises the right hand and tells Rendon to stay at third. 2-1 ball game. Huge run. Soriano warming up. Franzen for Barrett in the on-deck circle. LaRoche takes a high strike. That one kind of had the catcher Jeff Mathis jumping around, and sometimes that'll cost a pitcher a call, but not that time. Kevin Franzen waiting in the pitcher's spot, which is the number 5 hole for the Nats.
The out pitch for Caminero is that split. We saw it already.
Worth is going. They're going to give him second base.
Well, with 2 strikes you can go because they probably won't pitch around LaRoche right now because they're ahead in the count.
Got to give him a steal for that, right? You don't call defensive indifference in a 1-run ball game in the 8th inning, do you?
No.
2-2 on LaRoche. And he takes it up and away. You know, Kevin Franzen's a good contact man. If they walk LaRoche, so be it.
Well, you can walk LaRoche, but, you know, Caminero's not known for his command. He's known for his stuff more than anything.
And then maybe he goes Marmol and gets a little afraid to throw that splitter with the bases loaded.
I'd throw the split right here.
Mathis is, as FP noted, a superior defensive catcher. LaRoche pulls it. First baseman Jones, 1 out.
It was the split.
Not too late to become a national season plan holder. Great plan still available. How about low prices, exclusive plan holder benefits? 202-675-NATS or visit nationals.com/2014. So here's Kevin Franzen.
She is showing her son where he's going to hit it. Squeeze is in play right here, by the way.
You know this guy. Is he a good bunter?
He is. Got good wheels at third. The only variable is you need a strike thrower. But it's definitely in play. Look how deep Jason Worth is in his lead at second. He's almost on the grass.
He is a good 20 feet behind the shortstop, Echeverria.
The one thing I will say, Carpet's in play, but I don't know Matt Williams well enough to know if he likes that play.
Well, I'm sure he'd like to have at least a 2-run cushion. And Rafael Soriano. The Marlins have 4, 5, 6 due up in the 9th. Kevin Franzen will make him throw some strikes.
Obviously pitching around Franzen to get to Harper. Should get a pitch to hit right here.
Ball 3. Fastball up and away. They have another left-hander in Dan Jennings, but he's not warming up.
He pitched last night.
Yeah, Jennings, a third of an inning last night, and he pitched on Tuesday as well. This is Archimedes' inning. It's got to be an equation in there somewhere. The number is 4 in a row that he missed to Franzen, and that will bring in Bryce Harper.
Good at bat by Franzen, nothing to hit. Take your walk. Veteran at bat.
Caminero in the 6th inning last night did not face Bryce.
And the crowd here is on their feet for this at bat as Bryce Harper digs into the box.
He did face Bryce in the 7th inning last night and struck him out. There was a pitch in the dirt, the splitter. So we'll see how calm Bryce Harper can stay here. And an RBI or 2 here would put a great cap on the 2 games he's had in this series last night and today. In the dirt, ball 1.
First pitch split, fish ain't biting.
Marlins have backed up a bit on the infield in case they get an opportunity double play grounder.
Danger.
And now Dan Jennings, their left-hander, has popped up in the bullpen. But there's a right-handed hitter, Desmond, next.
Seven balls in a row from Caminero. Do you give him the green light?
I don't know, man. I got to make this guy throw 2 strikes.
That's why I asked the question. I'm silly. I say yeah. He can lay one right in there.
That is ball 4. The Nationals lead 3-1, and Bryce Harper has his 4th RBI of the series.
Very calm at bat. There wasn't really a hard take in the whole sequence for Bryce Harper or Kevin Franzen. So 8 balls in a row from Caminero and not one near. There's tough takes that you have as a hitter in big situations and easy takes, and really right out of the hand, none of those pitches from Caminero were strikes.
Well, Bryce smiling. Sometimes you don't have to do a whole lot to drive in a run.
I think he's thinking that 3-0 pitch is the same one he hit over the foul pole yesterday. It was a ball off the plate in.
Well, I'm glad he took this one. Here's Ian Desmond. Desmond struck out against Caminero last night. Infield, way in again. It's interesting. With Harper up, they were back for a double play. Now they're back in. Still only 1 out and strike 1 to Ian Desmond.
8 balls in a row. Desmond bet strike. Got it. It was just 96 miles an hour.
And Desmond goes deep to left center. Is this another slam? It is! 7-1 Washington.
Load him up and knock him down. Smiles all over the first base dugout. 2nd career grand slam for Ian Desmond, and that ball was destroyed. I mean, that's just good team hitting, keeping the line moving. That's the definition. Take your walks if they're going to give them to you. Hit strikes when they throw them to you. And not only hit strikes, hit them out of the yard. How fun is this team to watch? Are you kidding me? The fans want a curtain call.
And right now, the Nationals have outscored their opponents from the 4th inning on this year by an amazing count of 42-15. Desmond, a fist pump and a 4-run swing.
Somewhere to the left. And how about Ian Desmond? Yeah, two-seam fastball down in, dug it out. Took a mighty hack at the first pitch, missed it at 96, and did not miss that one. Goodness. And Matt Williams with the handshake right there. High fives all in the dugout. And I think Bryce Harper was helmet taker offer guy.
And then Sandy Leon makes it out. And that's the second out here in the 8th.
I mean, do we really have to watch this team for 153 more games? How exciting has this been?
Well, starting to look like 7 of the first 9 on the right side of that column. Right as in correct side of that column. And here's Danny Espinosa, who bunted for a base hit last inning.
You remember, I think it was last year, to where there was a spell where with runners in scoring position, the Nats looked like they were the ones in trouble when they were at the plate. And we'd sit up here and talk about, once you realize that the pitcher's the one that's up against it, not you as a hitter, that's when you consistently drive in runs. I mean, perfect example today of, Bryce Harper taking the walk that was given to him. Kevin Franzen off the bench. Hey, you sit around for a while. You want to go up there and do something, right? You want to be the hero. He took the walk. Very calm at-bats in big situations so far from the Nats offense, and that is a great sign. And Jerry Blevins agrees.
22 runs in these 3 games against a Miami pitching staff that came to town with an ERA of 2.43, 4th in the National League. Dan Jennings trying to put out the fire here.
And when you have confidence in the guy behind you that he's going to get the job done, you don't feel the pressure in the box to get the job done. If you know guys behind you are scuffling, you try to chase pitches and do things you normally don't. But when it's all clicking, and well, if I take my walk right here, he's going to pick me up. Or even if I make an out right here, he's going to pick me up. It takes the pressure off the whole deal.
Espinosa gashes one out to center. Way over the head of Ozuna. It'll sharp hop the wall. And Danny Espinosa, a late game replacement, 2 for 2.
That's such a nice day for a bench player to come into a game. And you're thinking, I'm going to get one at bat. Laid down the bunt in the 7th inning. Stole second base. And here, big leg kick from the right side. Drives the ball to right center. And that ball jumped off his bat. You'll see in a second with the Exmo. Good swing, good extension. And a nice day for Danny Espinosa, 2 for 2. He'll take it.
4 hits, 2 walks in the inning. Denard Span bats for the first time. Target away on 1-0. Outside. Fastball on the inside corner. Rafael Soriano's been thrown out there forever. When this inning started, it was a 2-1 game. Save situation obviously gone, but with the rather weary arms of the bullpen, he's going to have to come out and get those last 3 outs. Marlins playing on the road for the first series this year. They go from here to Philadelphia. Then entertain the Nats Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So they have found out that the road is a different thing after starting in your first week at home. They played the Padres and the Rockies. 3 out of 4 from Colorado, 2 out of 3 against San Diego.
It's just a different story when they have their 3, 4, and 5 guys going versus their 1 and 2. No disrespect to those guys, but the top 2, especially Fernandez, who I think is the best pitcher in baseball, gives you a chance to win every 5 days.
Look what's happened to their bullpen now in this series. A lot of late scoring. Tuesday night, the Nats got 2 in the 6th, 2 in the 8th. Last night, 2 in the 6th, 4 in the 8th. Today, 5 in the 8th. And a breaking ball blocked by Mathis.
You can win an autographed Nats memorabilia from Masson all week long. Just be sure to follow Masson on Twitter and use hashtag MassonNationals in your tweet to be automatically entered to win. Maybe you can win Bob Carpenter's beach towel from a trip to Miami coming up.
I promise it'll be game used.
That's a nice thought.
A little beach volleyball.
Oh, all right.
And Span out to left. Yelich there. 9 Nats bats. 5 Nats score. 4 of them on one swing by Ian Desmond after the Bryce Harper bases loaded walk. Breathing room and then some after that swing. And the Nats have hammered the Marlins in late game situations here. Masson, the Nats in downtown Atlanta to face the Braves. Tanner Roark won his first start at the Mets. Couple of runs in 6 innings with 5 strikeouts. Julio Teheran beat the Nats with only 2 runs in 7 innings last weekend. He's 1-1 with a 2.77 ERA. A little bit later, 7 p.m. Nats Extra. FP and I join you for the booth at Turner Field at 7:30. First pitch, 7:35. Nats 7. Marlins 1, top of the 9th.
Remember, our Washington, D.C. Lexus dealers are donating $250 to the Children's National Medical Center for every home run a Nats player hits this season. So I feel like, because it's not my money, if it's a grand slam, it should be quadrupled. And I'm just going to say that right now. It's a wonderful cause. Lexus, the pursuit of perfection.
You just lost all of your bargaining power in the showroom the next time you go by there.
Well, I'm a big fan of Lexus. I have one.
Garrett Jones, 0 for 3. Soriano, long inning last night in the 9th, 26 pitches, 18 strikes. He gave up a couple of hits, struck out 2, got the save, his second of the year. Pours the fastball in there, 1-2. Braves and Mets just a few minutes away from starting in Atlanta tonight. Rubber game of that 3-game series. And there goes the bat into the seats on a strikeout by Soriano. Everybody okay?
Boy, I always see fans trying to catch a bat in the stands. Don't ever try to catch a flying bat. Get out of the way. Wait till it stops, then pick it up.
And then when you take it home, check out the Mid-Atlantic Sports Report. Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Rob Long, Phil Wood, Dave Johnson, Mel Antonin. Player interviews, batting practice look-ins, and a series preview.
He's got a bat.
Casey McGee looks at a perfect fastball to the outside corner.
See, that's out front on top and was down in the zone. That's where Soriano wants it. Even though he throws in the 90s, it's very deceptive. If he can keep it down, he has a chance. It's when he starts to elevate the ball out over the plate that there's trouble. And when he falls behind the count, jumping ahead 0-2.
Well, Johnny and Ray should have a full half hour tonight. Just show some highlights, boys. You won't have to fill too much time.
Well, Johnny's tie is brighter than the Marlins jersey, so just tune in for that alone.
Yeah, I've noticed they haven't turned the lights on out there yet. Soriano, a strike thrower today. 2 Ks, 2 outs.
Nice job of climbing the ladder, getting ahead.
Next up, Marcell Ozuna, who hit that monster home run against Steven Strasburg his last time up. So the Nats will be the first place team in the NL East when they arrive in Atlanta tonight. Out of play, right side. Nats about to turn this into a 4-2 homestand. Win their 4th in a row after their second sweep, and that is some interesting attire there.
It's Adam LaRoche's pass list, probably.
What happens to people when they show up at the ballpark? In the air to right. Why not Worth? And at the stroke of 7 p.m. in Washington, D.C., the Nats sweep the Miami Marlins with a 7-1 win today. A 3-hitter, by the way, by Strasburg, Blevins, Barrett, and Soriano.
Yeah, we talked about it with Gio the first game of this series. Yeah, the offense was good. The defense played well the whole series. But for me, it all starts with starting pitching. And today, Steven Strasburg, as good as we've seen him in a long time. All 4 pitches in the strike zone. The changeup as good as I've ever seen it. And the velocity at 95, 96. Steven Strasburg should get the game ball because he was lights out.
He evens his record at 101. We have more ahead from Nationals Park. What a great series for Washington. Now 7-2 on the year.